News Live.
Tonight, all the day's major stories here on Prime.
We do have one suspect down.
Breaking news tonight as another college campus is rocked by a shooting, this time in Las Vegas, where the suspected shooter is dead, but the investigation into those killed and injured, as well as a potential motive, is only just beginning. Plus,
I just want to come home. Look what
Brooklyn.
they did.
A burn mark, we believe, on her shoulder, like a cigarette got burned on her. Her face was just bruised, swollen. She
was literally like fighting for her life.
bad.
a family's fight for answers. ABC News Live investigates the death of a service member just weeks after she alleged she was assaulted by fellow soldiers. And remembering a trailblazing icon, celebrating the life of the legendary Norman Lear and the legacy he leaves behind. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We begin with breaking news out of Las Vegas with a deadly shooting at the University of Nevada. At this hour, police report multiple victims with at least 3 dead, plus the gunman who was reportedly killed in an exchange of shots with police. Law enforcement rushed to the scene earlier today after reports of a shooter at the business school building and later at the student union. Officers from multiple agencies then ran to address that threat. And in what has become an all too familiar scene, students evacuated buildings, their hands in the air, and like so many instances before in this country, some of those students described their painstaking calls to loved ones to let them know they're still alive. ABC's Will Carr leads us off tonight with the very latest.
The deadly gunfire erupting just before noon. Reports of an active shooter on the campus of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Rescue 18, be advised, shots fired in the area.
A swarm of tactical officers racing to the student union and the business school. At least 3 people killed. School officials urging students to run, hide, fight.
At the time, I was evidently terrified, scared for my life.
Just off campus, anxious parents waiting for word.
They're hunkered down into a classroom in the dark and just waiting. My heart's breaking for those students who could be hurt.
One witness telling us the gunfire was shaking the walls. Students inside locking doors and taking cover, waiting for police.
You're calling your family, you're calling people, you're texting your friends like, hey, I love you guys. I don't know what's happening, like, because he could burst through the door any minute.
We were evacuated out by police holding guns. We all walked out with our arms up. When we were walking out, we saw one of the windows had been shot through.
Police rushing hundreds of students to safety while urging those on campus to wait for an all clear. Joe Muller from our affiliate KTNV is on campus.
We're hearing loudspeakers from the campus still. They're saying students need to stay in place. So as far as we know, some students are still inside of their classrooms.
The shooting leading to a ground stop at the nearby airport in Las Vegas. After nearly 3 hours of chaos, police announcing the suspect was deceased, killed by police.
Our officers are going unit by unit, building by building, with the university police and the rest of the police officers, firefighters, EMS, and making sure that we don't have any additional victims and or subjects.
Police getting all too familiar with these kinds of events. Will Carr joins us now. Will, what's the latest that you're hearing from authorities?
Lindsay, tonight authorities say the threat to the community is over, and now the big question is why, the motive. Both the ATF and the FBI are on the ground tonight to try to find out. Lindsay.
Will Carr for us. Thanks so much, Will. Now to another developing shooting we're following out of Texas after police arrested a suspect connected to multiple murders after an 8-hour span of violence across San Antonio and Austin. Investigators are working to determine a motive and the suspect's relationship with those who were shot. ABC's Matt Rivers has more.
Tonight, new details in a violent shooting spree across 2 cities in South Texas that left at least 6 dead and 3 injured, including 2 officers. Police now say the suspect, 34-year-old Shane James Jr., first killed his parents, Shane and Phyllis James, in their San Antonio home before 9 a.m. on Tuesday.
So the best that we can put together, possible time of death is sometime between 10 p.m. and 9 a.m. that next morning. From what we're able to determine, a large caliber handgun.
James then driving more than an hour to Austin, opening fire on a school district officer in a campus parking lot before 11 a.m. That officer shot in the leg, surviving. About an hour later, officers racing to a home nearby after repeated calls of shots fired, finding a man and woman fatally wounded. Around 5 p.m., a man riding a bike in the neighborhood also shot. His injury non-life-threatening.
Austria Loop, complainant states the subject kicked down the back door.
Then 2 hours later, police responding to a home burglary less than 2 miles away. An officer then exchanging gunfire with the suspect. The officer shot multiple times, but surviving. Inside that home, officers finding the bodies of 2 more people.
Be advised, they believe it's the same suspect who shot the ASD officer earlier.
Authorities then taking James into custody after a car chase that ended in a crash. The bodies of James's parents found later that evening in their home in San Antonio.
Matt Rivers joins us now. Matt, any word of a possible motive?
Yeah, Lindsay, authorities say that this suspect in this case is a former member of the military with a history of mental health issues and violence within his own family. But as to why he went on this alleged shooting spree both here in San Antonio and north of here in Austin, they say they're still investigating, but they do not yet know. Lindsay?
Still remains a mystery. All right, Matt Rivers, thanks so much. An atmospheric river is pounding the Pacific Northwest, bringing up to 10 inches of rain in the past 24 hours. Many rivers are at flood stage, including this river in Washington state, forcing water rescues. Authorities are investigating the deaths of at least 2 people in the region. 2 more storms are right behind it, one of them heading all the way east. Our senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is tracking that for us. But first, let's go to ABC's Mola Lange in Washington state.
Tonight, rivers raging across the Pacific Northwest as relentless storms pound the region.
Nearly a foot of rain in less than 24 hours, and that's after a weekend deluge. And this is the result. Acres and acres of flooded roads, bridges, yards, and homes.
During the storm's peak, the Coast Guard using a chopper to rescue 5 people, including 4 from a home trapped by floodwaters in Wahkiakum County near the Oregon border, hoisting them one by one to safety. Officials investigating at least 2 deaths reported in the region so far. In Snohomish County, Curtis Babb's home inundated with water.
At the sliding glass door on the side of my house, I could see the water pressing against the glass like it was an aquarium almost.
Families now cleaning up with more storms on the way.
More on the way. Mola Lange joins us now from Washington. Mola, what are things like right now?
Well, Lindsay, the rain has really let up, but as you can see there behind me, that's Snoqualmie Falls. As you can see in here, still raging after the region has been just pounded over the last few days. And another storm moves in tonight, and even more behind that one. Lindsay?
All right, no rest for the weary. Mola Lange, our thanks to you. That system now reaching California's Bay Area, and that's exactly where we find our senior meteorologist, Rob Marciano, in San Jose tonight, tracking it all for us. Hey, Rob.
Hi, Lindsay. Yeah, that front that's been stalled in Oregon and Washington for the past couple of days, it's finally spread south into the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's been raining on and off throughout much of the afternoon. You see it here on the radar scope, a lot of pressure pushing up now into the Sierra and up and through British Columbia. And the 2 other storms behind it, those are the ones that are lined up in the Pacific. The storm number 2, really, that's the cross-country cold core trigger. So that brings more heavy rain tomorrow here, but lower snow level, so that should help stabilize some of those rising rivers north of us. The snow will be heavy, though, in the Cascades and the Bitterroots, 1 to 2 feet at pass level, so that'll be tough driving if you're going over the mountains, and extending into Utah and the Colorado Rockies. Then the severe storms get into the south on Saturday, the heavy rain pushing across the Mississippi, up the Ohio, and then really amping up across the Appalachians onto the East Coast with some cold air and some snow behind it. It's going to be a very messy Sunday and Monday, I'm afraid, at least to start on the East Coast. Lindsay?
Looks like the Northeast is going to get battered there. Rob Marciano, our thanks to you. Now to the war between Israel and Hamas, where the IDF says it has surrounded the leader of Hamas as he hides underground. Meanwhile, in Israel, there are still high tensions over the fate of the remaining hostages still being held inside Gaza. Here's ABC's James Longman in Israel for us.
Tonight, Israel unleashing over 250 airstrikes on targets in Gaza, with troops surrounding the home of Hamas's leader in Gaza, Yahya Sinwar, who they say is hiding out in an underground headquarters. Israeli forces have battled into the heart of Khan Yunis, the biggest city in southern Gaza, and where thousands have sought refuge from the north.
Nearby, a chilling sight as Israeli planes drop leaflets on a graveyard for the war's victims.
The IDF directing some to leave, others to stay.
The leaflet that has been dropped in your neighbourhood,
is telling you to stay where you are. It's not telling you to move.
We don't want to move if we don't have to move. I don't actually know how far I can trust the Israeli army.
Meanwhile, some hostage families accuse Benjamin Netanyahu of inaction. Leaked audio from a tense meeting provided to an Israeli media outlet revealing their anger at the Prime Minister. One woman saying, quote, "All you're thinking about is collapsing Hamas. Give them back, whoever they want, and bring everybody back." Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar is Israel's most wanted man. He could be in Khan Yunis, but so are hundreds of thousands of civilians. Lindsay?
James, thank you. The Justice Department has charged 4 Russian soldiers with torturing an American living in Ukraine during Russia's invasion of the country. For the latest on the charges and on the state of the war in Ukraine as Congress fights over more funding, let's go to ABC's Patrick Reevell in London.
Hi, Lindsay. This is the first time the Justice Department has ever used the decades-old U.S. war crimes statute. U.S. prosecutors have indicted 4 Russian soldiers for the abduction, torture and inhumane treatment of an American living in southern Ukraine in April 2022. They're accused of holding him in a Russian military compound for 10 days, severely beating him, subjecting him to brutal interrogations, including a mock execution. The DOJ says the American was not a combatant, but it's unclear if any of those accused will ever see a U.S. courtroom. And this comes at a deeply worrying time for Ukraine, with continuing American aid suddenly in increasingly severe doubt because of the deadlock in Congress. The Biden administration today announced another $175 million military aid package for Ukraine, using the remaining $5 billion that's authorized. Anthony Blinken warning this could be the last of the packages if Congress doesn't approve more. President Zelensky's chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, was in Washington today, warning without more aid, there is a big risk that Ukraine could lose this war. And the trajectory of this war is deeply worrying for Ukraine. Instead of victory, we are suddenly talking about whether Ukraine will be able to defend itself. This would be a huge gift for Vladimir Putin. Ukraine, though, hoping that Congress will still find a way forward. Lindsay?
Patrick, thank you. Late today, Senate Republicans banded together to vote against a package that would have sent more aid to Ukraine and to Israel, saying that border security reforms should be part of the deal, leaving the future of the bill in doubt. Next tonight, with former President Trump making headlines ahead of the 4th GOP debate in Alabama, Trump will not be on that stage, but was with Sean Hannity last night, who asked him to promise he would never abuse power as retribution against anyone. Our senior congressional correspondent, Rachel Scott, has his answer.
Just hours after President Biden said he's not sure he'd run again if Donald Trump wasn't in the race, that democracy itself is at stake, Trump on Fox News deflecting questions about whether he would rule like a dictator and about this pledge he made to his supporters.
For those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
Fox host Sean Hannity asking Trump about concerns he would be a dictator. Trump not rejecting that description, instead turning the focus to immigration.
Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not. That's not retribution. I'm
gonna be. You know, he keeps. We love this guy. He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No. Other than day one."
Makes an exception for that first day that he could be a dictator. Rachel Scott joins us now from Tuscaloosa, where the debate will be held. Rachel, how is Biden responding to those comments by Trump?
The Biden campaign is really seizing on those comments from the former president, saying that they should take him at his word, saying that Donald Trump is going to behave and act like a dictator, that he just confirmed that. And they are challenging his Republican rivals to address that here on the debate stage tonight in Alabama, Lindsay.
And Rachel, what are you going to be watching in particular as these 4 candidates take to the stage?
It is the smallest stage yet, and so this field has really narrowed in recent weeks, which means all of these candidates will have a lot more speaking time, a lot more time to go head-to-head on critical issues. I'll be looking out to see whether or not they address these latest comments from the former president, but I got to tell you, all eyes tonight is on Nikki Haley. She is still seeing that rise in the polls as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis slips. Lindsay?
Rachel Scott for us from Tuscaloosa. Thanks so much, Rachel. And joining us now is Olivia Perez-Cubas, a spokesperson for Nikki Haley's campaign. Thank you so much for coming on. Let's just start with the basic idea of what would success look like for Nikki Haley tonight.
We're really excited about tonight. Look, Nikki is an incredible debate performer and a debater. She was the winning, she had a winning debate performance the first 3 debates, so we kind of expect more of the same for this one. And in a lot of ways, millions of voters are still being introduced to Nikki. Many of them are hearing from her for the first time, and they like what they hear. She talks about her vision for a strong America, for a proud America. She's talking about the importance of a new generation of conservative leadership. Voters like what they hear. They're coalescing around her. That's why she's the only candidate on the debate stage tonight who has any sort of momentum, who is surging. She is now 2nd in Iowa, 2nd in New Hampshire, 2nd in South Carolina. So we feel good. We're excited headed into the Iowa caucuses in a few short weeks here, and we look forward to continuing to build off of that momentum.
We all saw Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy kind of go at it a bit at the last debate. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis would appear to be her chief rival for 2nd place in Iowa and New Hampshire. Do you anticipate that she'll take him on directly tonight?
Look, I think if the past few weeks have been any indication, he and his team have taken every opportunity possible to attack Nikki and to lie about her and her record, whether that be media appearances, whether that be campaign appearances. He has now spent millions of dollars attacking her and her record with lies. So I think at the end of the day, it just shows that Nikki's on the rise. She is a threat, and I think if we've learned anything from the past few debates, it's that if you hit Nikki, she's going to hit back, and she's going to hit back harder.
We are now 40 days away, as you well know, from the Iowa caucus. Haley will be back in Iowa later on this week. What's a success for the Haley campaign in the Iowa caucus?
Yeah, that's a good question. At the end of the day, we want to do as well as we can in Iowa. And I will say this, Nikki is the only candidate who is strong in both Iowa and New Hampshire. She has invested significant resources in both of those early states, and she's the only one who is rising in all 3 of those early states. And it's a stark contrast to DeSantis, who has, in a lot of ways, put all of his eggs in the Iowa basket. He has invested over $100 million in Iowa, and at this point, he's got nothing to show for it. There's not much rationale for him to advance beyond Iowa unless he wins it, and it's the opposite for Nikki, who is strong in all 3 early states. And don't forget that after New Hampshire comes South Carolina, which is her home state. Voters there know her, they love her, they know that she's a fighter for them. They have taken a chance on her not once but twice before, and we feel strongly that they're going to do it again this year.
Of course, Donald Trump has yet to show up at any of the debates. Do you and the campaign have any words for him tonight?
I know that Nikki Haley would love to debate him in a head-to-head matchup. I think voters could see the stark contrast between Donald Trump and Nikki Haley. She is in 2nd place. This is a race against Donald Trump. She's got a very strong vision for this country. She is making the case to voters about why we need a new generation of leadership. And voters like that message. They like what she's saying. They are coalescing around her. So we look forward to debating him at some point.
Haley spokesperson Olivia Perez-Cubas, we thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who was ousted from his role by a faction of his own party earlier this year, will resign from Congress at the end of the month. The announcement caps off McCarthy's fall from GOP leadership after rising to the speakership in a historic 15-round vote earlier this year. Speculation over McCarthy's future spiked after a band of 8 Republican backbenchers engineered his historic ouster less than 2 months ago over personal and policy disputes. After his defeat, McCarthy insisted he'd remain involved, helping to recruit and fundraise for House Republican candidates. And one giant leap for AI, Google just announced its newest artificial intelligence model, adding to the growing field of companies developing their own AI programs. The CEO of Google's parent company, Alphabet, unveiled Project Gemini, which the tech giant says is designed to behave in human-like ways with an expertise in math and physics. It's set to rival OpenAI's ChatGPT, backed by Microsoft. But critics of the new technology are afraid projects like this could eventually surpass human intelligence. Google says they'll begin to roll out the new AI model within its search engine and smartphone devices. And we still have much more to get to here on Prime tonight. Jason Isaacs joins us to discuss his new role in the biopic Archie. But next, we bring you part of an ABC News Live special on sexual assault in the military and the families pushing for change.
We need everyone to call their senators, email congressmen, and help us get the FBI to take over Denisha's investigation, because as long as it's being done by the military, it's going to be at their own speed, and they're just waiting for us to give up.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines.
From southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming.
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back. It was a dream realized and then shattered. Denisha Montgomery Smith enlisted in the Army back in 2021. Just a year later, Denisha alleged she was assaulted by fellow service members, and weeks later, she was found dead in her barrack. Now, Denisha's family is fighting to learn more about what led to her death, for transparency from the Army and for the FBI to take on her case. Denisha's story is a piece of a larger investigation by ABC News Live, Battle Cry, Fighting Against Sexual Assault in the Military, with our Stephanie Ramos.
You always think and hope about growing old with your wife or your husband. But I think you always kind of assume you'll grow old with your big sister. She was strong, beautiful, silly, weird, and the type of woman I wish I knew how to be. Denisha is known as PFC or Specialist Montgomery Smith to you all. But to me, she's my big sister. Denisha should be here.
Top lawmakers are demanding answers from the Pentagon about Kira Durkin.
The growing search for a Fort Hood soldier missing for more than 2 months.
Just last month, at least 14 Army leaders were fired or suspended for their handling of that investigation.
A young Army private, 4 months pregnant, discovered dead in her barracks.
The death of another soldier who complained of sexual harassment at Fort Hood.
Fort Hood is currently investigating the death of Ana Baldasua Ruiz.
Now to a mystery.
The growing search for a Fort Hood soldier
the death of another soldier.
Fort Hood is currently investigating the death of Ana Baldasua Ruiz. Several criminal, including the killing of Army Specialist Vanessa Guillen. When you hear of these suicides and incidents at different military bases taking place, what goes through your mind?
When is it going to stop?
How many is too many?
There's so much silence, and we're about to open it up.
Where's your mommy? Right there. We're here to bring awareness to the fact that our men and women in uniform continue to be murdered or murdered by suicide.
We've got the entire family of Denisha Montgomery Smith right here. She's a military police officer who was assaulted by 4 other military police officers and then 21 days later found dead after she reported it. This is unacceptable. We have to end military sexual assault and hold our senior leaders accountable now. We are Denisha Montgomery Smith!
I'm very upset with the military because they failed my daughter.
Stop it. You will never give up.
The military told the family that it was a suicide.
On July 19th, 2022, Army specialist Denisha Montgomery Smith told her family she was heading back to her post from an outing at a water park with 4 fellow soldiers. The group had been drinking. At the time, all were stationed at Army Base Wiesbaden in Germany.
No, bro.
When she said the group got into an altercation inside the car. This video, released to Denisha's family by the Army Criminal Investigation Division, shows Denisha being pushed down by 2 people in the backseat of the car.
I can't breathe.
As one person in the front records and another watches. Just hours after the alleged assault, Denisha FaceTimed her family in tears, asking them to record their conversation.
I'm going to talk to CID tomorrow. I don't trust them. I don't trust my leadership. I don't want to be here with none of them no more.
Her father calling the Red Cross while the family was still on the phone with Denisha, asking for their help to bring his 27-year-old daughter home.
She's scared for her life, and I need for her to try to come home or something. They choked her out and covered her nose. We need some help now, please, immediately.
Hi, honey. Mom. Yeah. Mom, I want to come home. Mom, this is all I wanted to do. Look. Wow. I have more and more that keep popping up. I just want to come home. Look what they did to me.
A burn mark, we believe, on her shoulder, like a cigarette got burned on her. Her face was just bruised, swollen. She
was literally like fighting for her life.
Bad. And I believe her when she says that she was assaulted, sexually assaulted, scared for her life, when all she wanted to do is come home. All I need is someone to believe that.
I thought I was going to die in the car, bro.
3 weeks after FaceTiming with Denisha, her family was visited by 2 casualty assistance officers at their doorstep, saying she was found dead. After an investigation, the Army determined the cause of Denisha's death was suicide by hanging, pointing to evidence of a ligature mark and an associated ligature furrow on the neck in her autopsy report. The Criminal Investigation Department provided the family with a report more than 1,500 pages long, listing no suspects. On page 117, they provided a diagram showing how Denisha was reportedly found in her wardrobe. The diagram making it appear as if her knees were resting on the ground at the time she was found. The family's attorney, Lindsay Knapp, believes that Denisha didn't take her own life, saying that there are missing pieces in the military's investigation, and they may know more than they are letting on.
As we continued to go on with the case and learned more and more, people in Denisha's unit are sleeping with their supervisors for protection, learning that her supervisor turned off the security footage that would have showed who was entering and exiting Denisha's room the night she died.
Reports from the Department of Defense indicate that there was a gap in the security camera recording on the base. Cameras did not capture any footage from July 18th, the day Denisha was assaulted, to the morning of August 11th, 2 days after she was found dead. The family was also provided with a photo showing Denisha's bags were already packed as if she was ready to come home.
It shakes the conscience. We're hoping that we can get the FBI to take her case
Knapp asked the former U.S. Attorney General Michael Mukasey to look into the case. He emailed back saying suicide was certainly a possibility given surrounding circumstances. As to the Army, do not overlook that there are some people whose first instinct is to lie and cover up, even when the truth would do. The individuals Denisha said were involved in the altercation, one of them being her roommate, were never listed as potential persons of interest in any investigation. Yet the family received a military protection order for no contact with those involved from the Department of Defense.
They've granted your family a no contact order from all individuals in the car shown during that video.
Yes.
What does that tell you?
That they're trying to protect the soldiers that was actually assaulting Denisha, protecting them more than they are even trying to investigate the death of my niece.
Denisha's family has asked the military for further examination into her death, but the military currently has no ongoing investigations.
We need everyone to call their senators, email congressmen, and help us get the FBI to take over Denisha's investigation, because as long as it's being done by the military, it's going to be at their own speed, and they're just waiting for us to give up.
You took our girl's life. You owe us an answer. You owe her children an answer. Even if you don't give me, her auntie, an answer, you owe her children.
So what happens with a lot of our service members, they're retaliated against so badly after they report. They're either killed by one of their peers or they kill themselves, and we call that murder by suicide.
If you serve in our military, you are more likely to be sexually assaulted than you are to be wounded by the enemy.
Lindsay Knapp and Amy Braley Frank both served as victim advocates for the military and have become anchors of support for families like that of Denisha Montgomery Smith and loved ones of service members still seeking answers.
When I was in service, there was no reporting procedures at all. That it was just the command does what the command does. It was even worse when I was in than it is now. I graduated law school and became an attorney, and then it all came to a head when when I reported that Special Operations was covering up rape, and they ended up firing me for that. And that's how combat sexual assault was born. We're trying to raise awareness about their stories and their cases and get our congressional leaders to hold a hearing to investigate and reopen some of these cases.
I plan on trying to reform the whole system because, as I said, this is one fundamental problem that the victims have said they're not reporting these cases because they don't trust the chain of command.
Lindsay and Amy, seeing the ongoing efforts New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand has made to change laws for survivors of sexual assault, are hopeful this meeting could lead to answers for families seeking them.
Imagine you have been accused of something that could put you away for the rest of your life, and the decision maker is already biased. You have no civil liberties.
In 2021, Senator Gillibrand was among other senators who passed the Military Justice Improvement and Increasing Prevention Act.
We are asking for a collective justice to be done.
The legislation removing the decision on whether to prosecute the accused from a commander. This law prompted by the murder of Army Specialist Vanessa Guillen.
We are here united as one voice.
If a leader finds out that one of their kids has sexually assaulted one of their other kids, at the very least that leader is going to have a moment of pause, right? Like you just are, right? Because you would never expect your kid to assault your other kid.
So I'm going to dig deep and figure out how to fix each of these problems through law, through prosecutions, through oversight, and through accountability.
Baby girl, I know you was here today. I feel you in my heart, sweetheart. You are not gonna be not heard. You will be heard. Yeah. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. We all say amen.
Denisha, Vanessa Guillen, when does it end? When is enough enough? Our service members are just not safe to serve.
How do you keep her memory alive for yourself and for your nephews?
I just bring her up whenever I see something beautiful. Although the younger ones might not remember their mom, all they need is just like the little things to remind them who she is. Beautiful sunset. Look how beautiful your mom looks today. Look at that beautiful butterfly. She's watching you right now. That's her. And even to myself, I say them things, and to my baby, I'm reassuring myself to keep myself okay, just saying, that's my sissy right there. She's still here, and she looks so beautiful today.
Hey, here's Denisha! I am Denisha Montgomery Smith!
Really powerful reporting there by Stephanie. Our thanks to her. Denisha's family is not alone in their fight. Our investigation looks at assault in the military. Battle Cry airs tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. right here on ABC News Live. And there's still a lot more to get to tonight. Coming up, a doctor created a test to find your perfect wine. But next, we take a look at the life, impact, and legacy of the late, great television titan Norman Lear by the numbers.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about, the new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
No one can get enough of Taylor and Travis.
Totally don't think it's fake. I think it's real. Are you kidding?
Your personal life is not going to be personal anymore, Travis Kelce. You are dating Taylor Swift.
1, 2, 3, got me.
We've never seen something like this.
Everyone went nuts. I think that people are intrigued enough to see what happens with this, especially because it feels like this is a different relationship for Taylor.
It's Taylor and Travis, now streaming on Hulu.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Reporting from Taiwan, I'm Britt Clennett. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. The word legend gets thrown around quite a bit, but it's fair to say that when used to describe Norman Lear, legend, it just might be an understatement. So here's a look at the life and legacy of the Hollywood icon by the numbers. Norman Lear, who wrote and produced some of the most watched sitcoms of all time, has died at the age of 101. He made his name in television, but when he was born back in 1923, the TV didn't even exist. The early technology was first demonstrated a few years later in 1927. Prior to Hollywood, Lear joined the military in 1942, flying 52 combat missions during World War II as a B-17 radio operator and gunner. Over the course of his prolific TV career, Lear had 82 producing credits on past and upcoming projects. That's according to IMDb.com. They include classics like All in the Family, The Jeffersons, The Facts of Life, Good Times, Maude, and One Day at a Time, all focused on what his family in a statement called the, quote, real lives of Americans, not a glossy ideal. Remarkably, 5 of his shows airing during the 1974-75 season alone were ranked in the top 10 most watched for the season, with All in the Family at #1 as it tackled thorny issues like race relations and the war in Vietnam through the lives of the Bunker family. The show won 4 Best Comedy Series Emmys, and more than 40 million people tuned in for the series finale in 1979, ending the show's 9-season run. It still stands as one of the top 10 most watched finales of all time. And more than 10 million people tuned into ABC's first live in front of a studio audience special in 2019, with a cast of current stars reenacting episodes from Lear's sitcoms. Lear is survived by his 3rd wife, 6 children, and 4 grandchildren, and he will certainly be remembered by millions of fans for his lifetime of work on the small screen. Our look back at Lear's legacy continues. TV showrunner Gloria Calderon-Kellett joins us to remember the impact of Norman Lear. Plus, middle schoolers charged after giving out edibles in school. We'll tell you where.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland, from Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Raleigh, North Carolina, the U.S. Capitol, Mayfield, Kentucky, Minneapolis, Mexico, Tongass National Forest, Alaska.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive. Cat 4 storm.
We're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen, wherever you get your podcasts.
The treats that resulted in charges for middle schoolers, the new financial proposal for NCAA athletes, and Wikipedia reveals its top searches for 2023. These stories and much more in tonight's Rundown.
Two North Carolina middle schoolers are being charged with drug possession after several students were rushed to the hospital from ingesting cannabis edibles. Police say the two students had Rice Krispie treats laced with THC and handed them out to other students during a snack party in their 8th grade class. Investigators also said that all the students who consumed the snacks knew what they were eating. Parents and students who were present disagree that the students knew what was in them. The school district said they are investigating the incident as well. The Hollywood actors' strike is now officially over. SAG-AFTRA union members ratified the contract reached between the union and studios that ended the 118-day strike. It includes pay raises and protections for actors over the use of artificial intelligence. The union says about 40% of members voted and 78% of voting members approved the new contract. That new agreement expires in June of 2026.
In a letter to Division I schools, NCAA President Charlie Baker proposes creating a new subdivision that would allow participating programs to offer compensation to athletes. Under the proposal, schools would now be allowed to enter lucrative name, image, and likeness deals with athletes. They'd also be required to invest a minimum of $30,000 per athlete each year into a trust fund for at least half their athletes.
NFL linebacker Von Miller will be available to play on Sunday, according to Bills general manager Brandon Beane. The 34-year-old turned himself in to police last week after an arrest warrant was issued by the Dallas Police Department. Miller is accused of assaulting his girlfriend while she was pregnant and has been charged with a third-degree felony. The star linebacker was signed last year to a 6-year, $120 million contract with the Buffalo Bills.
Baton Rouge ear, nose, and throat doctor Henry Barham may have just changed the wine game with Vino Taster. All you do is scan the QR code to open their app. Remove the strips from their packaging, place on your tongue, and select what you taste on their phone. For this strip, I only tasted paper. After you do all 4 strips, you'll get your results and several very specific recommendations.
Do you remember what you searched for this year? Wikipedia does. The Wikipedia Foundation, the nonprofit which runs the publicly edited online encyclopedia, says its English language version topped 84 billion views this year. The most popular topic, ChatGPT. That was followed by the annual list of deaths, which usually gets high traffic every year, the Cricket World Cup, Barbenheimer, and Taylor Swift.
Archie, a 4-part biopic drama starring Jason Isaacs, delves into the untold story of Hollywood legend Cary Grant's formative years as Archibald Archie Alexander Leach. Born in Bristol in 1904, the series explores Archie's challenging childhood, marked by poverty, his father's adultery, the loss of his older brother John, and his mother's depression. As Archie ventures into show business in the U.S., the series showcases his transformation into Cary Grant. Let's take a look.
You're Cary Grant.
Not to you, Mum. Just Archie.
And joining us now is Jason Isaacs. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
How did you go about stepping into the shoes of such a legend, really, Hollywood royalty?
I didn't, because you'd have to be an idiot to play Cary Grant. I heard they were making this, and I thought, what kind of morons are putting this together? And I saw the writer's name was Jeff Pope. Jeff Pope is very famous, actually, across the world. He wrote Philomena, he wrote Stan and Ollie. But in Britain, he's been taking real-life stories and making drama out of them for a long time, won every award. And I thought, why would he do this? And I read it, and I realized it's not about Cary Grant. It's about the man who played Cary Grant, because he was an invention. Archie Leach, who was such a damaged, such a wounded and scarred individual, made up a character the world fell in love with to defend himself, really to look for love because he was so unloved and so neglected and abused. And those fault lines played out in his private life so that where the world thought he was debonair and suave and whatever the adjectives you bandy around, he was the polar opposite and had 5 marriages, many other broken relationships, mostly had a tortured inner life.
And so would you say ultimately it's an actor playing an actor?
Well, he was an actor putting up a defense shield. He built an avatar. I think he was so, I mean, he was starving, literally from food, and also starved of love when he was young, that he learned how to please people. He was a male escort, and he was in New York when he was a teenager, and the whole world wanted him. In any room he walked into, men wanted to be with him, women wanted to, you know, everybody wanted a piece of him. And when he shut the door, when he got home and got off set, that mask dropped, and something very different, a very, very troubled and haunted individual emerged.
Laura Aikman plays Diane Cannon. I want to take a look at that.
She's fantastic. How can a mother even contemplate being away for weeks or months on a movie set when there's a baby girl depending on her?
Carrie, we have a lot of friends that balance children and their careers very successfully.
You know, what other people do doesn't concern me.
You want me to tell them I can't take the role?
You wanted to be married, a family. Well, now you have those things.
Talk to us about how the two of you all worked together to really capture the complexities of their relationship.
Well, we had Diane Cannon's book, rather brilliantly written book. She took a lot of years before she wrote it. She's done a lot of healing, and she was rather generous, I think, considering how awful the marriage was at the end, in recognizing the fault lines that went back to Cary Grant's childhood. So we had her on call. Laura spoke to her every day. I spoke to her a lot. We had Jennifer Grant, who's Cary's grown-up daughter that you saw there as a baby. She saw a very particular man. She saw a doting dad. She didn't know the much more troubled and angry man from who married her mother. And we have all the books, we have all the transcripts. In the end, we have our imagination.
I imagine it didn't require that much imagination when you had the roadmap from his grown adult daughter and one of his ex-wives.
Well, his daughter has a different attitude. His daughter, still, it's rather beautiful the way she remembers her dad. And I think one of the reasons to tell the story, one of the reasons that I was comfortable telling the story is there is an arc. He got to a place finally in his life by having a child where instead of looking for love, instead of trying to make people love him, he was able to love someone else, his child, in an uncomplicated way. And I recognize that myself as a dad when I had a baby, when my wife had our baby, the first one, for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged somewhere by her side. And whatever else, whatever part I played in life, socially or professionally, anywhere with people, this was something that was not an act. I was her dad, and I was always going to be her dad if I did it properly. And I think that's what he felt, and it was the beginning of the healing process for him.
Jason, such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for coming by. We want to let our viewers know the first 2 episodes of Archie will premiere on December 7th on BritBox in the U.S. BritBox is available on all your favorite streaming devices. We continue to honor the legacy of television titan Norman Lear. Joining us now is a woman who had the honor of working closely with Lear, showrunner and director Gloria Calderon-Killitt. Gloria, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Just tell us what it was like to not only work with and meet him, but to truly know Norman Lear.
Oh, gosh. I'll try to do this without crying. And, you know, I think it speaks to 101 years wasn't long enough, you know? Like, Norman was just a curious, wonderful, genuine human who wanted so much to build bridges, more than anyone I'd ever met. He knew that storytelling had the impactful power of building bridges, and that's really what he wanted to do. He really walked the walk of wanting to make connections with people and had a deep curiosity that was really inspiring.
On Instagram, you posted, "I miss you already. Words fail me. Love you, Norman. Thank you for everything. I know you're already making them laugh up there. Somehow 101 years wasn't long enough." 101 years, it included culture-shifting shows like All in the Family, The Jeffersons, of course, both versions of One Day at a Time. How did Norman Lear push the country and, in turn, representation forward with his genius and allyship?
He really was not afraid to ask the questions and to say, you know, I remember he would be able to share something and about the human experience and fight and have opposing point of views and have the other people listen to one another, something that is very hard for us to do right now. We see it so voraciously right now in this country. Everyone is so like speaking in bubbles and not hearing each other. He would have characters model what it looked like to listen to one another. And that was how he really moved the needle. He really was able to access the purest form of our humanity, and how really all of us care about our families and all of us want the best. And we have different ways of going towards that goal, but that through conversation and through humor, maybe we could find a way to get there.
I think he really accomplished that in so many ways. When you have Archie on All in the Family,
based on his dad, based on his father, you know.
The first interracial relationship that we saw with Tom and Helen on the Jeffersons. We could go on, but I'm curious if you have a personal story before we let you go, or a memory about him and your friendship with him that you could share.
I have so many. I've been racking my mind because there's so many. You know, he, the first episode that we did of One Day at a Time, we had the character of Penelope use one swear word. She slips, you know, as parents do sometimes. You say a bad word in front of your kids. And we thought it was really funny and a really fun way of showing what we could do on Netflix that we couldn't do on network TV. He was delighted by it because, you know, he loved to very judiciously use a swear word to get a point through. And Netflix said, hey, listen, you can do that, but we've seen all the other episodes of the show, and this is not a show where this family swears. So we worry that if you put it on air and it's the first episode and people are watching with their kids, they might say, oh, we don't want a show where the people are swearing. So we are not going to tune in to any more episodes. And Norman was like, we got to throw down. We've got to fight for this. And he was so fiery. And I said, Norman, we don't have the luxury of having them turn it off. We have to cut it. So we ended up cutting it. And he was so lovely either way. He just had your back. And he was so down for pushing the boundary. And it was just wonderful to see. It was wonderful to see how protective he was, how he really embraced you and made you one of his own, and fought for people to have equality, for people to be seen and humanized. And it was the joy of my life, truly.
It's a joy to hear you talk about him. It gives us all a sense of just a sliver of who he was as a man. Gloria Calderon-Kellett, we thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And that is our show for this hour. I'm Lindsay Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. And coming up in the next hour, we bring you the latest on that deadly shooting rampage in Texas. The DOJ files charges under U.S. war crime statute for the first time. We tell you against whom.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start Here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen, wherever you get your podcasts. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine, close to the front line.
from the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
No one can get enough of Taylor and Travis.
Totally don't think it's fake. I think it's real. Are you kidding?
Your personal life is not going to be personal anymore, Travis Kelce. You are dating Taylor Swift.
1, 2, 3, got me.
We've never seen something like this.
Everyone went nuts. I think that people are intrigued enough to see what happens with this, especially because it feels like this is a different relationship for Taylor.
It's Taylor and Travis, now streaming on Hulu.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You got to think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We begin with breaking news out of Las Vegas and a deadly shooting at the University of Nevada. At this hour, police report multiple victims with at least 3 dead, plus the gunman, who also was reportedly killed in an exchange of shots with police. Law enforcement rushed to the scene earlier today. The shooter reportedly at the business school building and later at the student union. Officers from multiple agencies ran to address the threat. And in an all too familiar scene, students evacuated with their hands in the air. And like so many instances before in this country, some of those students, again, in painstaking detail, described their calls to loved ones to let them know they were alive. The story is still developing. We begin tonight with ABC's Will Carr with the latest.
The deadly gunfire erupting just before noon. Reports of an active shooter on the campus of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Rescue 18, be advised, shots fired in the area.
A swarm of tactical officers racing to the student union and the business school. At least 3 people killed. School officials urging students to run, hide, fight.
At the time, I was evidently terrified, scared for my life.
Just off campus, anxious parents waiting for word.
They're hunkered down into a classroom in the dark and just waiting. My heart's breaking for those students who could be hurt.
One witness telling us the gunfire was shaking the walls. Students inside locking doors and taking cover, waiting for police.
You're calling your family, you're calling people, you're texting your friends like, hey, I love you guys. I don't know what's happening, like, because he could burst through the door any minute.
We were evacuated out by police, holding guns. We all walked out with our arms up. When we were walking out, we saw.
And we do want to go now to this live press conference from that shooting at the UNLV campus.
But I will not be releasing his name tonight until after the next of kin notification. As you all know, of course, this is a tragic day for all of us in Southern Nevada. And at approximately 11:45 a.m., LVMPD dispatch received reports of an active shooter at the UNLV campus. UNLV campus police responded to the scene and engaged the suspect immediately right outside of Beam Hall. LVMPD officers also responded simultaneously. I can tell you today, 3 of the victims are confirmed deceased. There is a 4th victim who suffered a gunshot wound and is now currently in Sunrise Hospital, upgraded to stable condition. In addition to that, there were 4 additional people who were transported from the scene to nearby hospitals suffering from panic attacks. 2 of our officers were treated at UMC for minor injuries, which were received while searching the vast rooms and buildings for victims at UNLV. Our hearts go out to the entire UNLV community. No student should have to fear pursuing their dreams on the college campus. What happened today is a heinous, unforgivable crime. But I want you all to know something. It's a crime that we train for each and every day. When there is an active shooter threat, the men and women of the Southern Nevada first responder community, police, fire, and EMS come together to respond quickly and decisively with zero hesitation. Within minutes, both on and off-duty responders race to the campus to prevent further loss of life. On a personal note, I'll tell you that after 1 October and all the time and effort and energy that we've put together in training with the men and women of law enforcement, the fire service, and EMS. Watching how seamlessly they work together today made me very, very proud to be their sheriff. Importantly, there was a gathering just outside of the building where the students were playing games and eating food. There were tables set up for them to build Legos. And if it hadn't been for the heroic actions of one of those police officers who responded, there could have been countless additional lives taken. Armed confrontation of the suspect by law enforcement stopped the suspect's further actions. I'm proud of the courage of these officers and the UNLV campus police and how they demonstrated that today. And with that, I'm going to introduce the governor of the great state of Nevada, Joe Lombardo. Governor.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I think it's important for people to realize the partnership that is formed as a result of my career at LVMPD and with Kevin, the sheriff himself, and the confidence that I was assured of when I got notified today. I had no doubt that the response would be appropriate, it would be swift, it would be quick, to the satisfaction of all the naysayers that we normally experience during critical incidents. And today, LVMPD did a fantastic job, along with the University PD did a fantastic job. And after the after action is settled here and our concern for the victims are bolstered and satisfied, I will be absolutely proud of the response of the first responders. I'll be absolutely proud of the community of UNLV, and I'll be absolutely proud of the community of Las Vegas and the state of Nevada. I had some formal comments to be said, but the important piece is I'm here to show the solidarity between the community and the law enforcement community and ensure on behalf of the state of Nevada, we are here to help, provide resources to the benefit of the victims, and to express my concern for the victims and favorable thoughts to the families, and to ensure that we move forward as a society and as a community, and to assure the community we are doing everything within our ability to address these situations appropriately and with the knowledge that we have received on a continual basis. So, Kevin, thank you. I appreciate that. And I think it's appropriate that the chief of UPD comes up and says a few words in the positive response of his police department. So, Chief Alex Garcia, please.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Adam Garcia. I'm the University Police Chief. First of all, let me begin by telling you all how heartbroken we are on our campus for what happened today. On behalf of the Chancellor, the Board of Regents, and President Whitfield, I am passing along our profound sense of loss for what occurred in the loss of life that took place. As the sheriff said, our officers collectively, UPD as well as Metro, responded to call for shots fired approximately 11:45. Two of our detectives responded to the scene and immediately engaged the suspect in a shootout. The suspect was struck and is deceased at this time. The campus was almost immediately closed, and out of an abundance of caution, all Nevada System of Higher Education institutions in Southern Nevada were as well closed. UNLV will remain closed for the remainder of today, tomorrow, and Friday, and additional determinations will be made as to whether or not the university will reopen next week, which will be finals week. So with that, I will turn it over to Commissioner Gibson.
Thank you, Chief. I'm Jim Gibson, the chairman of the Clark County Commission, and I'm here to express the shock that we all felt as a community, but at the same time, the enormous relief that we feel as a result of the great work of the first responders. We want everyone to know that anyone who has been affected will have the resources available to them to ensure that they have an opportunity and a way, a pathway to work through whatever the effects have been. My colleagues on the County Commission, indeed all of us in Clark County, express our support to the university and the folks who've been affected over there. We know that this will not know the entirety of the effect of all of this for some time. But the one thing that is certain, which was spoken, I think, a few minutes ago, is that without the incredibly well-trained and effective response that was provided, a whole lot worse situation could have happened. For those who suffer loss under the circumstances, the worst has happened for them. And as a community, we need to make sure that we're mindful of them. We need to keep them in our prayers, and we need to respond in every other way that we possibly can in order to meet the needs that are so great at this time, this kind of a thing, and at this time in our lives here in this county. And now I would turn it over, the microphone over to Chief Steinbeck, who will talk just a little bit about what some of the resources are that are available. Chief?
All right, and let's bring in ABC News contributor, former FBI agent Brad Garrett. We've obviously just been listening to an update about that shooting that happened at the University of Nevada earlier today. Brad, just wanted to get your initial thoughts as far as what stands out most to you as far as what we've just heard in this presser.
The immediate response of law enforcement, and ironically, it's the university police officers, which logically would make sense because they work the campus, but they were the ones who engaged the shooter. And as the sheriff described, if they hadn't stopped him, he was apparently in such close proximity to other students that this could have been much worse. I mean, it's horrible if anybody is killed, but the numbers could have been much, much bigger. And so it's another example of a quick response, and you know what you're doing can save lives.
And how do investigators find a potential motive if the suspect is now dead?
Well, typically, Lindsay, is the people who have what I would call agendas to commit these types of shootings. It's all driven by anger, revenge, resentment, and they write about it. They talk about it. If he's younger, we don't know his age yet, he may have an online profile. So there may be a lot of things potentially, or he may have even just written it. As we've talked before, some of these guys write manifestos. Did he write one? Things like that. You'll be able to patch this together, I think. It actually becomes harder with older offenders because they don't use social media and they're very reclusive. And this kid or person may be also a reclusive, but the point being, they'll find an outlet, and typically it's social media, and hopefully that ends up being the case.
We were talking about in the press conference, and then you and I just briefly now, as far as the response time. To what do you credit that? Is this just a matter of police forces? We're seeing this so much more frequently now that they're doing drills and practicing for these exact type of scenarios.
I think the sheriff said it correctly. He said, we train all the time for the scenario that happened today in Las Vegas. And, you know, fortunately, it was a situation where officers were within minutes, maybe a very few minutes, of where the shooting occurred, and they were able to engage him. One of the keys, Lindsay, has been obviously, since Columbine, is for law enforcement to go toward the shooter. And that's exactly what they did. And you put your life in jeopardy, but you're there to save lives. And that's just what, you know, that's part of the job. And it looks like to me they carried it out in a supreme way today.
And glad to hear that that fourth person who was shot has at least been upgraded to stable condition. Brad Garrett, our thanks to you as always. We'll, of course, continue to follow updates on this shooting as they are warranted and continue to develop. And we're turning now to an atmospheric river that's pounding the Pacific Northwest, bringing up to 10 inches of rain in just the past 24 hours. Many rivers are at flood stage, including Washington's river you see right there, forcing water rescues. Authorities are investigating the deaths of at least 2 people in the region. 2 more storms are right behind it, one of them heading all the way east. Our senior meteorologist, Rob Marciano, is standing by tracking that for us. But we continue now with Mo Lange in Washington State.
Tonight, rivers raging across the Pacific Northwest as relentless storms pound the region.
Nearly a foot of rain in less than 24 hours, and that's after a weekend deluge. And this is the result. Acres and acres of flooded roads, bridges, yards, and homes.
During the storm's peak, the Coast Guard using a chopper to rescue 5 people, including 4 from a home trapped by floodwaters in Wahkiakum County near the Oregon border, hoisting them one by one to safety. Officials investigating at least 2 deaths reported in the region so far. In Snohomish County, Curtis Babb's home inundated with water.
At the sliding glass door on the side of my house, I could see the water pressing against the glass like it was an aquarium almost.
Families now cleaning up with more storms on the way.
That system now reaching California's Bay Area, and that's exactly where we find our senior meteorologist, Rob Marciano, in San Jose tonight, tracking it all for us. Hey, Rob.
Hi, Lindsay. Yeah, that front that's been stalled in Oregon and Washington for the past couple of days, it's finally spread south into the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's been raining on and off throughout much of the afternoon. You see it here on the radar scope, a lot of pressure pushing up now into the Sierra and up and through British Columbia. And the 2 other storms behind it, those are the ones that are lined up in the Pacific. The storm number 2, really, that's the cross-country cold core trigger. So that brings more heavy rain tomorrow here, but lower snow levels, so that should help stabilize some of those rising rivers north of us. The snow will be heavy, though, in the Cascades and the Bitterroots, 1 to 2 feet at pass level, so that'll be tough driving if you're going over the mountains, and extending into Utah and the Colorado Rockies. Then the severe storms get into the south on Saturday, the heavy rain pushing across the Mississippi, up the Ohio, and then really amping up across the Appalachians onto the East Coast with some cold air and some snow behind it. It's going to be a very messy Sunday and Monday, I'm afraid, at least to start on the East Coast. Lindsay?
Looks like the Northeast is going to get battered there. Rob Marciano, our thanks to you. Now to the war between Israel and Hamas, where the IDF says it has surrounded the leader of Hamas as he hides underground. Meanwhile, in Israel, there are still high tensions over the fate of the remaining hostages who remain held inside Gaza. Here's ABC's James Longman reporting from Israel.
Tonight, Israel unleashing over 250 airstrikes on targets in Gaza, with troops surrounding the home of Hamas's leader in Gaza, Yahya Sinwar, who they say is hiding out in an underground headquarters. Israeli forces have battled into the heart of Khan Yunis, the biggest city in southern Gaza, and where thousands have sought refuge from the north.
Nearby, a chilling sight as Israeli planes drop leaflets on a graveyard for the war's victims.
The IDF directing some to leave, others to stay.
The leaflet that has been dropped in your neighborhood is telling you to stay where you are. It's not telling you to move.
We don't want to move if we don't have to move. I don't actually know how far I can trust the Israeli army.
Meanwhile, some hostage families accuse Benjamin Netanyahu of inaction. Leaked audio from a tense meeting provided to an Israeli media outlet revealing their anger at the Prime Minister. One woman saying, quote, "All you're thinking about is collapsing Hamas. Give them back, whoever they want, and bring everybody back."
Our thanks to James Longman for that. Still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, celebrating the life and legacy of TV titan Norman Lear. But next, an incredibly lucky escape for shoppers when a car loses control.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel. Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
Everything is so fine. A little bit of sunshine. Dance more, just a little bit. Breathe more, just a little bit. Smile a little more, and I'm into it. I've been running through the strange life. Pictures on my phone, like everything is so fine. A little bit of sunshine.
Good morning, America.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Traveling with President Biden in Ireland, I'm Karen Travers. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. An American man has been arrested in connection with the religiously motivated killing of 2 police officers and a 3rd person in rural Australia last year. According to the police, the 58-year-old man was arrested by the FBI in Arizona for allegedly sending extremist Christian materials to the 3 people who carried out the shooting. Families who lost loved ones during the COVID-19 pandemic gathered in central London as former Prime Minister Boris Johnson appeared as a witness at the country's COVID inquiry. Johnson faces 2 days of questioning in what are likely to be the most emotionally charged sessions of the official investigation so far into why Britain ended up with one of the world's highest death tolls during the pandemic. COVID-19 killed more than 230,000 people in Britain and infected millions more. Dramatic video from Peru captured a lucky escape from choppers after vehicles crashed near a store. CCTV footage from the affected business showed the moment of the crash with one woman outside the store avoiding a direct hit thanks to a street pole. Now to a warning about buying used cars, as an old odometer scam is making a comeback that could cost you. ABC's Steve Osinsami has this story.
Paul Burrows lives in Iowa and says he had no idea that the mileage on his pretty new car was a lie. In November, he found an incredible deal and paid $10,000 for this 2015 Audi A6 to a private owner in Chicago, thinking it only had 66,000 miles. But when he registered the car with the state, he discovered the truth.
The mileage has been altered. That car has 185,000 miles on it and not 66,000 miles on it.
We asked experts to run the vehicle, and they tell us that if those low miles were real, the car could have been worth as much as $18,000.
Was I heartbroken a little bit? Yes, because, I thought maybe I was getting a really good car at 66,000 miles.
As we discovered, it only takes minutes to cheat.
So go through and already selected Chevrolet, HHR.
Yeah.
This is a 2009 model.
Josh Engel repairs vehicle odometers north of Atlanta and says that thieves can quickly change an odometer reading.
All right, there's our kilometer value.
Yeah.
We'll go to 70,000 kilometers.
And you just tell it a new number.
That's it. Hit enter, and you'll see mileage will go change. 43,000 miles on it.
It changed instantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean...
Seconds.
Seconds.
Yeah.
It takes no time.
Yeah. Does the car have a record of I've been tampered with?
Some do, some don't. This
Okay.
one does not.
According to Carfax, new data tells them that there are about 2.1 million cars on American roads with odometers that have been rolled back, up 7% from a year ago and 14% from 2 years ago. And the cost to American car buyers is more than $1 billion each year, according to the federal government.
So there are sometimes organized scammers and there are sometimes one-off people.
Experts say the best protection is to always get a report using your car's VIN and have an independent mechanic look underneath the car before you buy.
They can look for overly worn brake pedals. They can look for shocks and struts that may seem much more worn than that odometer reading suggests.
Some news you can use there, thanks to Steve Osinsami. And still to come, a look at decades of TV, the legacy of Norman Lear.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
Live reporting, breaking new exclusives. Keep streaming with ABC News Live.
Writer, director, revolutionary Norman Lear changed primetime television. Tonight, we remember his life and legacy. Here's ABC World News Tonight anchor David Muir.
Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
Norman Lear and the shows and characters he created revolutionized television.
Do that, you could hit a nerve there and make somebody go cockeyed.
A groundbreaking writer, director, producer who used humor to tackle the political and social issues of the time.
Now I suppose you're going to tell me that the black man has had the same opportunity in this country as you?
More. He's had more. I didn't have no million people out there marching and protesting to get me my job.
No, his uncle got it for him.
There was All in the Family and Archie Bunker, a bigot who in many ways was still beloved, set in his ways in a changing time.
Black people have arrived. They're here. I ain't letting them in.
Archie Bunker, Norman Lear once told George, was based in part on Norman's own father.
Is it really true that your dad came up with Archie's signature line?
What, stifle? Oh, meathead. You're a meathead dead from the neck up.
You are a meathead. A meathead, dead from the neck up.
So that's real life.
Yeah. Yes, that's real life.
And stifle is real life.
Stifle, Jeanette, stifle yourself. Right into her face.
Stifle that, will you?
And then I would pick it off the twin.
Will you stifle that?
The stories were bold and controversial and new to television.
Well, we're moving on up to the east side.
The Jeffersons.
Now, just because we are moving up is no reason why we have to look down on people. I'm not telling you to look down on nobody. I'm just saying to shift your angle and let them start looking up to you.
Their success story and all that came with it.
You live in this apartment, right?
Uh-huh.
And you got an apartment in this building, too?
Yes, that's right.
Well, how come we overcame and nobody told me?
Before that, there was Maude.
Maybe we don't remember which of us decided to get the divorce, but there was no doubt who decided we should get married. My mother.
And then Sanford and Son, too.
What do we pay the government that money for?
What for? For security, Pop? For defense.
We were robbed twice last year. Now, where were the soldiers?
Come on, Pop. Your tax money also goes to poverty pockets.
And it comes from poverty pocket.
Norman Lear was born in New Haven, Connecticut in 1922 to a salesman and a homemaker. And he would talk often over the years about what inspired his scripts.
The only thing I knew to write about was what I saw around me. There's nothing that was ever said on any of these shows that you might not hear in a playground. It's America.
Tonight, his family saying Norman Lear died peacefully overnight, surrounded by his family at his home in Los Angeles. The legendary and groundbreaking producer who at times had well more than 100 million Americans watching his shows.
What was it like to know that on almost any given night someone was watching a show that you helped inspire?
I remember flying over the country in the early years of all of that at night and looking down and thinking, wherever I see a light, it just might be possible that I helped to make somebody laugh.
He certainly made us laugh and think. Our thanks to David for that. And that is our show for tonight. I'm Lindsay Davis. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com. The news never stops. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.
one can get enough.